Hey Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today to share with you a layout I created for the Cocoa Daisy June sketch challenge. Here's the sketch. You can see it has either potentially 1, 2, or 3 pictures, and this is what I created with that. I used a 4x6 picture, and then instead of the two 4x3 cards that are stacked top to bottom, I decided to just use a long pattern paper strip. I print my pictures at home on matte paper, and I usually actually print them smaller than 4x6 so that I can ensure that I have a nice white border around my pictures. I do try and print them when they're 4x6 with a white border. If I'm printing 4x3, then I do print them side by side and end up just matting them on white paper. So I struggled with what colors I was going to use. I knew I wanted that floral paper from Bella Boulevard, and I knew I wanted that yellow, which is a Cocoa Daisy exclusive. I just wasn't sure how I was going to arrange them. So you can see me sort of shuffling around. I really liked those pink hearts from Pink Paisley as well, and how they coordinated with the pink and the yellow, but I couldn't get them to work where you could actually see the hearts, and I felt that it took away from the actual pattern of the pattern paper. So I cut that 3.5 inches wide and kept it 12 inches until I figured out how I was going to use it. And then this piece that you can see that I've used from a previous layout, I cut down for that main background piece that is called for in the sketch. And I knew that wasn't going to be 12 inches, so I cut that one 10 inches tall in order to have an inch border up the top and the bottom. So I knew this was going to somehow factor into it, and then I originally thought that I would use the 2 journal cards, or maybe just one, but I didn't like all of the hues of the reds and the yellows that are in that paper, and wanted something a little more contrasting against that yellow that I knew was going to be my background. So I kind of played with different backgrounds to see if I could get any of these cards to work and stand out and work for me, but ultimately I decided that I didn't like any of that. So I found this other Cocoa Daisy exclusive and decided that I really liked that, and that would be the long strip that's called for in the sketch. And I'm not sure if I kind of liked it going long ways, but I also do like the scallops going in short strips across the page. So I also pulled out some of my pre-cut die cuts and thought that I might use those instead of the journal cards, and that I would back them, the flowers, with the flowered pattern paper from Bella Boulevard. But you couldn't really see, you lost the definition of the flowers from the pattern paper that I thought was so unique, and so I decided that that wasn't going to work and tried this, and it's actually not that bad. I actually kind of like it, and it might have looked kind of cool backed, but I went with some other plan. So this washi comes with the main kit, and I really love the washi. It's very unique. I haven't seen anything like it, and I really wanted to use that because it has all of the colors in the washi that are also in that floral pattern paper from Bella Boulevard that I really wanted to use. So you can see I still haven't really settled on how I want this to go. I know that yellow piece is going to be that main background that the sketch is called for, but other than that, I really don't finalize what I'm going to do until I've shuffled things around and tried many, many, many options. So I continue to try journal cards, the 4x3 from the Day in the Life cards, and ultimately my entire layout ends up coming from the main kit exclusively. I abandoned just about all of the digital die cuts that I try and just go with that leaf that you can see sitting on my mat there on the right hand side. I do trim this down a little bit more. I took a 1/2 inch off the top and a 1/2 inch off the bottom so that there still was that ombre effect as you move from top to bottom. Otherwise it would have been very light or very dark. And that is ultimately what I decide I'm going to do. That floral on the right instead of the 2 journal cards, the scalloped piece that's the Cocoa Daisy exclusive at the back, and then the yellow Cocoa Daisy exclusive as my main background. So now it's time to embellish this, and I really liked that green. The green just sort of popped my daughter, the picture of my daughter, up off of the yellow and added to a little bit more color and tied in the unity of colors throughout the layout. And I ultimately went with the washi on the left hand side there because I thought it created some balance. I've got a lot of pattern papers that are heavy on the right hand side of the layout, and by putting that busy washi on the left hand side, it just sort of grounded all of that busyness on the right hand side. That was my line of thinking anyway. So then I pulled out some of the Vicki Boutin, I'm sorry, embellishments I wanted a little bit more on this layout, but that pattern paper is pretty busy, and I was reminded of the tags, and I thought that they would look really cool popped out of the picture. But the problem with this is that you then lost the symmetry of the tall, medium to short of the picture, and I liked that gradated look there, and so I decided I didn't want to do that. And by putting the tag across the page like I had just had it, it made it too triangular. So I didn't want that. And then I thought that this pink card would look cool because I really liked the butterflies, and the butterflies matched the butterflies on that sticker that I want to use there. But again, I felt that I lost the gradations of color that I had created. So I put the tags away and pull out more ephemera. Our kits came lacking embellishments. So the print and cut files, when you don't have the embellishments, make for some nice further embellishment. And so I just shuffled through all of the print and cut files, and you'll see that I have two of some of them. I was having a problem getting the print and cut function to work, and so some of them I just ended up cutting by hand and sticking in with the ones that ended up working of the print and cut files, because I'm stubborn that way and wanted to make sure that they worked. So I don't need too much on this layout. Again, as I said before, the pattern paper is pretty busy, and I really wanted to keep the emphasis on that lovely picture of my daughter. This picture is of her. I take pictures of the kids on every birthday. Sometimes it's the day after, as was the case here, which is why the title becomes Just 11. And the journaling's simple. It just says, posing sans glasses for Mom's obligatory birthday pictures. Mia does wear glasses, and she has the transitional lenses, which are great for her to protect her blue eyes, but they're terrible for pictures. So sometimes I make her take them off so that we can get pictures and actually see her eyes instead of the gray of the transitional lenses. So I sped this up just a little bit more because you've already seen what the layout ultimately is going to look like, and you don't need to see me adhere everything down in real time. So that's one of the stickers from the Vicki Boutin ephemera pack, and another one of the print and cuts is that circle there. And I ended up going with the circle instead of some of the arrows that come in the print and cut files because I like the way that the circle complemented the circle of the flowers in that pattern paper. Here's my title going down, and these stickers come with the main kit in the June 2017 Cocoa Daisy kit. And I mentioned to you why I called it Just 11, because she literally just turned 11. This was the day after her birthday. And I wanted something a little more up the top right-hand side rather than just that circle. This kit is called Under the Sea, and I thought it was perfect to pull out my punches and just complement with some additional cardstock to make the theme of my layout match. And so I just used some Martha Stewart punchers and punched out different size butterflies and those flowers there, just to give a little bit more oomph to that bright yellow that's there and tie in some of the colors across the edge of the page. So I'll in a moment pull out my fine line glue applicator with my Scotch Quick Dry, which is no longer called Quick Dry, but I insist on calling Quick Dry. And I do play with one of the blue flowers and think that it would look good on the right hand side just because I happen to have an extra blue one, but it was kind of lonely over there by itself, so I decided to skip that. So if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, make sure that you do so in order to not miss any of my upcoming videos. We would love for you to partake in the sketch challenge this month. Just link us up using the hashtags that you'll see on Facebook. Thanks for joining me, and enjoy the close-ups.